a very good accommodation venues, both for students and for officials. The hotels are very good and the accommodation venues are very good. I'm going to request the CEO to release a report, a detailed report to you. The town is very good. Oh, very good. Nightlife, I know most of you are interested in the nightlife. We had a night inspection also. And believe me, those who will go to Morogoro will be very happy. They have tourism sites, national parks, and what have you. Very good. And transport. For those of you who will go by air, when we reach Dar es Salaam, they have a speedy train just within 1.5 hours, which is 300 kilometers. You move from Dar es Salaam to Morogoro, and it shuttles about 4 times a day. So definitely, transport is very good, and the hotels there are very good, providing for very high class. Like those of you who want a 5-star, they have 5-star hotels. We slept in a 5-star hotel, and they also have as low as 1-star and even unclassified, which will definitely fit within your pockets, in anybody's pocket. Then I'm glad to inform you that this year round, we are going to improve on the organization of our championships. We are starting with the Elite Games, and Elite Games, they will be hosted by Janan Secondary School on the Bombo. Today, we shall be inspecting the venues for the second time. And one information I can give you is that so far we are satisfied with the way they're organizing. And here we shall have 7 different sports. And in these games, what we have is that the teams which won, the 8 best teams of last year, will be competing in football for both boys and girls, basketball, volleyball, handball, basketball, netball, and then rugby sevens. We have also arranged to have ball games 1. In ball games 1, we shall have 11 different sports, and they will take place at Soroma Christian High School. We have good information that they are organizing, and Soroma wants to give us the best venues ever in the history of our games for ball games 1. And most of the venues, I understand, will be new. They are setting them up. 11 different games: football, girls, basketball, hockey, rugby, tennis, table tennis, badminton, under 16 netball, under 16 volleyball, under 16 handball, and then under 16 basketball. What you know now, we pray for both. And this year, maybe one of the clarification which I will give is that we are changing from under 16 to under 17. From under 16 to under what? Under 17, I'm going to give you the reason for that. So this will not be under 16, but under 17. And what are we doing? Why are we doing this? We want to give every child in secondary school a chance to compete at the national level. What was happening is that kids would come to senior 1, then they see the old boys competing in football at national level, when for them they have no chance. Now we are giving everybody what? A chance. There are those games we play at senior level for holiday first term. Those on the under 16 will participate in ball games too. Then for those games where the seniors play, the under 20 play in the ball games too, the under 16 are played in alongside ball games. What? Now, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? We want to give everybody a chance to play at the national level. And actually, we are not stopping at national level. We are also playing at international what? Level. So national football boys final will be in Lira Town College. We shall be hosted by Lira Town College. That is for accommodation for the boys, but we shall use venues in the entire Lira city. We shall also be soon going for another inspection, but the first inspection showed that they have the potential of hosting the games. and we are sure they will host them. But in case they fail, we also have standby hosts. And the standby hosts are very ready to take on the games in case we are not satisfied with the host. Now, when it comes to ball games too, they will take place in Sacred Heart Secondary School, Guru. And here we have 23 different sports categories that will be played in Sacred Heart, Guru, in ball games too, in July this year. And also among these games, we have athletics, and of course, we have also under 15 boys, CAF, under 15 boys, and also under 17 basketball, football for boys, and so on and so on. Now, International School Sports Federation. You know, we are members. Uganda Secondary School Sports Association are members of FIASA. They are members of Africa School Sports. We are also members of International School Sports. And this year, we have planned to participate in 6 different sports categories at world level. We shall participate in handball championship that will take place in North Macedonia. We shall also participate in ISF World Schools Basketball that will take place in Serbia. We shall also take part in a volleyball championship that will take place in PR, China. We shall also take part in ISF Football World Cup from October 17th up to October 26th that will take place in China. And then ISF World Schools Golf Championship that will take place in Morocco. This one will be for both under 15 and under 18, while the ones up will be for under 18. We shall also take part in the Gymnasiad that will take place. I think now they have confirmed which country in South America. And this one will take place, will be for under 18. We shall inform you of the city very soon. Now, Federation of East Africa, we have finished the inspection, and the competition will take place in August. Now, the district and zonal calendar program is as follows. The zone will hold the meetings between 16th and 20th February to start off the games. A district hosts meetings between 17th and 22nd. Submission of schedules will be by 23rd of February. Zonal qualifiers will start from March. Will take place between March and up to April. And the national championship will be May 2026. Now, I'm glad to inform you about the athletics reform. One of our main sports in this country is athletics. And we noted that as far as schools are concerned, the sport is going down, and we have introduced a system whereby in all zones, each zone will have 2 meets per term. We shall have zonal competition, zonal meets twice a term. The first one will be in February, and the second one will be in March. And at the end, during first term holiday, each zone of the 19th zone will have a training camp. Now, we shall have these qualifiers in May, and zonal qualifiers for the champion in June. These are the first one, that district qualifiers for the zonal prior to the zone, and the second category is zonal qualifiers and the qualifier for the qualifiers prior to national. Then we shall have a national training camp for FIASA games in July. And then, of course, ISF competition and Gymnasiad 2026, we shall compete. And of course, we shall have another camp for that one. Now, inspection of the host schools is as follows. I'm sure all of you have the paper. We have distributed it. I hope everybody has this. I'm just clarifying, so that if you have it, it will be easy for you to follow. And inspections as follows, as you see them there. Then we go to by-elections. Now, you know, the teachers, we had elections in 2022 for district and for zones. Now, for someone to serve for the zone, he must be serving in that zone. If you are a teacher and you are transferred, you can no longer serve on the executive of that district, nor can you serve on the executive of that zone. When you retire, then that means you are no longer serving, so you can no longer serve. So because of that, we have discovered that there are very many gaps on the executives of some zones and also very many districts. And I can assure you, we have got our returning officer will run elections for replacement, as you can see up there. By election, that's number 9. By 5th February, we had submissions from districts. Second, release of vacant positions, nomination of candidates by 10th Feb. District elections will be between 14th Feb, which is very soon. Nominations for zones between 16th and 17th, and district elections will be on 19th Feb. Release of elected candidates will be by 19th of Feb, so that they can help us run elections this year. Stakeholder engagement, we always make it a point to meet with stakeholders, and we shall this year, we shall meet with Athletics Federation, Basketball Federation, Netball Federation, Golf, Cricket, Futsal, Hockey, Baseball, Softball, Baseball, Kabaddi, Coco, and Pickball. You know, this is by the law of Uganda. They are the ones mandated to. There are many things which are reserved for this federation, which are not our reserve. And for that reason, we meet with them to make sure that we do the things according to their laws and also according to ours, so that we are on the same page. And we shall be meeting them between 1st and 10th of Feb. Actually, the meetings have already started. Some have already taken place. A few. USSA zonal meetings will be between the 9th and 13th of Feb, and USSA zonal meeting between 16th and 20th. Zonal chairpersons and secretaries meeting will be on 21st Feb, and this time around will be online, because you know, with technology now we are number 1. Reforms and institutional changes. Here every year we go through our rules. We have gone through them and we have submitted to the ministry, and I can inform you of the many things that are going to change this year. They are going update, as I've already told you. Now this year, we have proposed to the ministry that we shall run 3 different categories. We shall run under 15, we shall run under 17, and we shall also run under 20. As you know, for football, because of the CAF competitions, we have been running under 15, and when it comes to under 16, we'll be having problems. But this time around, we have introduced under 17, then under what? Under 15. Now, under 15 will be strictly for ages of 13, 14, and 15, in line with CAF regulations. That is for football. Even for other games where we shall introduce them, we shall do the same. As you know, there are some kids who are in secondary when they are 13 years of what? Of age. Much as the law stipulates that for us secondary we run competitions from the age of 14, there is that gray matter. And we shall, we need the guidance of the ministry to see how we run it. Then under 17 will be for those of age 15, age 16, and age what? 17. Then under 20 will be 16, 17, 18, 19, and what? And 20. Although we have requested the ministry to make a clarification because we have checked with the Act, and you know the Act, we cannot go beyond the Act. Our rules and regulations must be in line with the Sports Act. The Sports Act says that for secondary, USSA will run competitions for students up to the age of what? 20. What does it mean? When you have 20 years and 1 day, are you still in that category? So we have requested for clarification because we want to be according to the what? We shall also give you the Act and you read it through yourself. We are supposed to run competitions up to the age of 20 what? Age of 20. Now, if someone has 20 years and 3 days, is he still under us? No. Okay. So we have requested the ministry to guide us. Also, we have found something which is very good, I think. The law talks about underage participants in competitions. As you know, when you talk of underage, you become of age in Uganda when you become 18 years of what? When you are 18 years, you are an adult. But the law goes on to say that if you are 16 years of age, you can play with the seniors. Like that means if you are 16 years of age, you can be even on the football national what? Team. If you are 16 years of age, you can play with those people who are 18 years of what? You can also play with those of 19 years of what? Of age. You can play with those of 20 years of age. But there are conditions which you must satisfy. One, your parent must grant you that what? And it goes on to say that if there is money to be won, then the parent must also be what? Involved. For example, if you are going to play and win money, then the parent must be, because we are not supposed to give these underage kids money, isn't it? So if you are going to win money, the parent must be involved. So what does that law imply? It implies that if you are below the age of 16, if you are below the age of what? Then you are under no circumstances should you pray with the what? And we took this one to mean in contact what? There's contact sport where if you are a minor of 14 years of age and you are boxing with someone who is 19 or 20, you can be damaged, isn't it? So the law prohibits that. So what does it mean? It means that if you have a kid in senior 1, in senior 2, however good this child is, if he is below the age of 16, according to the Sports Act, this kid will not play for the school, for the senior school what? Team. Because the senior school team has children of 18 years and those of 19 what? 19 years. And in a way, this one, we welcomed it as USSA. It has solved for us a very big what? Problem. Last year, we had a problem with schools, especially private schools, even government schools actually. We had some government schools. They go there, they get a boy who is 20 years of what? Of age. They take him back to be what? P7. They forge his age. They cut his age. They say he's now 12 years of what? Of age. And this kid comes to secondary school. In senior 1, he's 13 years of what? Of age. You look at the boy, he looks old. But for them, they say he's 13 years of what? Of age. We don't have an age meter. Now the boy prays, he's 20 years of age, but he's praying for the school team, where we have under what? And even when you see this boy, the boy is even praying like a senior. But when you bring the birth certificate, the boy has a birth certificate. You ask for P7 pass slip, the P7 pass slip is indicating that the boy is 13 years of what? And then we have been having a problem how to remove them. Some of them you find they have beards, then they bring books showing. Someone can have a beard at 11 years of what? Of age. But now it has solved our problem. If you forge someone and you say he's 13 years of age, then you have to wait until he's 16 years of what? For you to use him for your senior what? So all those schools which have kids, however good they are, with the forged date of what? Unfortunately, they will not participate in our what? And I think in the future, those people who have been forging those ages, they will stop, isn't it? Because one of the reasons, and I will tell you, you know, I'm an instructor for football administration and management. Now, one of the reasons that we have identified why our players do not develop and become good to reach a certain level is because of lack of age category what? When you call for under 15, you run a championship, but in that championship, there are people of 20 years of what? Now, when you look for them 3 years in front, they are no longer playing because they are now too what? Too old. And when they pray, when you have a 20-year-old praying in the place of a 13-year-old, what happens? The 13-year-old will never get a chance to do what? To pray. We think that we want to thank for that law as USSA, want to thank the Parliament of Uganda for that act. We also want to thank in a person because we know the role of Engineer Moses Magugu. Engineer Moses Magugu was the mover together with the Ministry of Education of that act. And we want to thank him for that very good law because it is solving our problem. I know this year some schools will suffer. They have some prayers, very good prayers whom they cannot use, isn't it? So it is something, it is transitional. In the future, it will go. Now, the hosting of these games continue to be rotational across the country. Some people are asking me that why we continue to rotate the games across the what? But it is mandatory that where we take them, they must be having good facilities. As you know, yes, as you know, our competitions are now on TV. We televise them. And since we televise them, this one is starting. Okay. We televise our games, and televise the games, they good surface. We are making good surface mandatory for our competition. If it is a turn for northern Uganda, for example, or central, and we find that in central there are no good facilities, we shall take those competitions back to the east, where we have been experiencing very good competition. I hope that one is very clear. But we shall rotate across the country. Now, for someone to participate in our games, we are insisting we there has to be registration, someone will have to be registered, there will be screening, there will be verification, there will be transfer, and then we have released transfer petition guidelines. We are embracing technology in the competitions and the financial management. For example, all our payments, we don't receive cash, it has to be paid in there on the account in the manner that we have established. And most importantly, I have been telling people in my manifesto, when I was becoming president and my executive, we underestimated ourselves. We underestimated ourselves. Our manifesto was, within 2 years we had done everything, apart from having our own home, our own permanent part. Well, I'm glad to inform you that we are in the process of acquiring 18 acres of land, where we shall not only have our home, but we shall also have facilities for both competition and camping. And we are looking at having there about 16 football fields. This thing keeps going on. About 16 football fields, about 4 basketball, about having I think this thing is good, a running track, athletics track, and everything. And we shall have a capacity of hosting not less than 2,000 participants at any one time. We are in the last phase of getting the land, and the land is very well located. We are working on it together with our commissioner, and maybe I can inform you that this one will be in Mbarara City. We are getting 80 acres of land, and we shall use it for school sports. We shall have their offices and playing venues, hostel, and everything. Capacity building. One of the things we celebrate in the last 3 years as USSA is capacity building programs, which we started in 2022. I would like to inform you that as we talk now, we have so far trained 12,499 students. Some of them are here. Capacity building products stand up here. Those who capacity building products stand up. You see, even you, I want you to stand up. Those are some of them. 12,400, sit down. 499 students. And in addition to that, we have also trained 4,057 teachers. And as we are having these ones, there are some people, like coaches and what have you, who are not students, they are not teachers. And those ones from the community, they are 392. So a total of 16,948. Now, among these, we have trained them in coaching, in refereeing, in umpiring, in first aid, in injury management, and media. Now, for sports administration, most of which are teachers, we have trained 700 of them. Now, the good news is that this one has had a very, very big impact on school sports. In addition to that, we have had an ITTF, PTT, level 1 coaching and upper course in the table tennis in the collaboration with ISF and ITTF Africa, and of course the Ministry of Education and Sports, where we had 31 participants participating this year. We have also conducted level 2 training at Chibuli. Level 2 training. Now we have people of high level, and here we had 227. We have also conducted level 1 training in volleyball coaching and umpiring, which attracted 60 teachers and students. This one was also at Chibuli. In Ukumi, this was actually in Ukumi. Now, as I have already said, what has now happened is that school sports has gained a lot. During our competitions, we have more student participants as officiating officials than even the people we get from federations. Of course, even these ones, capacity building, the training is by federation. We only facilitate. But we have now more students officiating our games. And we have also introduced a law. Every team coming for our national championship, you may have a senior coach from somewhere else who is not a student. But the assistant coach must be a fellow what? A fellow student. And you also bring another 2 participants who will be participating in a capacity building. So this one has had a lot of effect. Slots. Now, at the national level, we give zone slots. Like most people have been asking, how come that Wakiso has more slots than the Karamoja? When Karamoja is bigger than Wakiso what? This one has been a question. Now, we give slots according to previous performance of schools at the national level. For example, if schools in your zone, they become champions, you get an extra what? Slot. That school may not be given a slot, but the school, your zone gets an extra what? An extra slot. Then the 2 slots utilization. Some zones, you can give Karamoja for 2 slots, 3 slots at national level this year. But at the end of the day, only 1 do what? Come. So that means, so we reduce the slots. Now, another important thing is that even then, even if you don't participate at all, each region zone gets automatic what? Karamoja, always use Karamoja. Karamoja will get a slot in all sports what? Categories. Whether they are utilizing them or what? Or not, they have mandatory one. But any extra slot must be according to previous competitions, the performance, and also utilization of its slot. Now, any zone which does not utilize its slots at the national level, those slots are docked. Now, I've been telling you that normally I am here, I have a mandate of 4 years. My executive committee also has a mandate of 4 what? We are voted in power in 2022. Now, in the last General Assembly, we appointed a returning officer together with his assistant. And I would like to inform you that this year we are going to have elections. And depending on how I will have performed, together with my executive, I may decide or I may be convinced to stand again. But that decision is coming, it's not for now, but it is possible. The election guidelines were passed by the General Assembly, a returning officer appointed. Election roadmap will be released by the Electoral Commission, and the elections will be conducted at district, zone, and at the national level. I want to say that we are a democratic what? Institution, and we follow our constitution, and we shall make sure that the elections will take place at the time when they are supposed to take place. compliance. We are lobbying government through the Department of Physical Education and Sports, through the ministry for additional funding. Why do we need additional funding? Because as you can see, our mandate, we are participating in more international competitions. We have more sports categories. We are more organized. And we have also observed that there are some schools, especially USE, which qualify but are not able to participate at the higher level. Why? Because we have what we call cost sharing. Now, the part which the school is supposed to carry, much as these schools have highly talented kids, the school is not able to carry that burden. And our plea to the ministry, to the government is that at the national level and at international level, the participation should be completely free. Completely what? If we can get more resources from government, we shall make sure that participation will be free. Weekend league. We discovered that, like now we are starting our competitions in February. By April, most of the schools will have been eliminated out. Most of the schools will have been eliminated out. And there will no longer be any competition for those schools until next week. So what does that mean? It means the kids will no longer improve. Their talent will be what? And you can only improve by playing. So we introduced what we call weekend leagues. Now, weekend leagues, they are organized at district level, they are organized at zonal level, they are also organized at city and municipal levels. Strictly, they are league-based. They can be for under 15, under 16, under 18, depending on how those people decide. And they are only for schools neighboring what? School where there is no transport costs. And they will call them weekend leagues so that they can play on Saturday and Sunday only. And we encourage that they are officiated by capacity building referees. The coaches should be our capacity building coaches so that the school does not spend any extra funds. These people, these leagues, they are supported by our national. We support them in one way or another. But for us to support them, they have to be registered within our system and participate according to our rules and guidelines. Marketing and promotion, we are continuing to make sure that we do branding. We are into digital media and online promotion, broadcasts. We are improving on our media coverage. We are having stakeholder engagements. We are ready to work with sponsors. We are ready for partnerships and for commercial promotions. We are promoting new disciplines and grassroots sport. And we are praying up to international level and regional level and making sure that there is exposure at those levels. And we do monitoring, evaluation, and also impact communication. And we continue to be committed to mass sports. As USSA, we are committed to making sure that every child who goes to secondary school gets a chance to play. And not only to play in football, in athletics, but to play in all those sports. Because as you can see, we are now going up 30-something different category sports. We know that different children are differently talented, and we feel that for every child, and in accordance with our menu of such a something, different sports, they will get a what? There is another thing I want to comment about. We recently received a letter from FUFA, and FUFA is establishing what we call schools. It's an advert, and it is interested in what we call football schools of excellence. Football schools of what? Which, together with the federation, can develop sports in the country, Uganda. We as USSA, we are very ready to work with FUFA to ensure that, and we are ready to encourage as many schools as possible, both private and government schools, to apply and participate in this program together with FUFA. And we don't want to stop there. We have also realized that our schools across the country, they are the ones with the facilities. Most of the pitches are within our what? In fact, across the country, we already have more than 4 stadiums within what? Schools. When you talk of Bukedia, you talk of Amus, you talk of St. Mary's Stende, the schools own what? Stadiums. And we think that schools definitely are entities, even more than clubs, that can even start what we call academies. And academies which run parallel to formal education. So I'd like to say that we are very ready to work with the FUFA. And then the other thing, especially for private schools, the schools are the ones with the money. Did you know that it takes money to make an academy? Schools already have what? We have already demonstrated that we have the required money. And for that reason, we are going to encourage the schools across the country to apply. And we are also making an appeal to other federations to also make partnerships with schools so that we can develop these games. We are appealing to the Athletics Federation. We are appealing to the Basketball Federation to follow the example set by FUFA, to have schools of excellence established, where there will be collaboration between schools and federation for the advancement of sports in this country. I thank you.